My next guest has got a big fight coming up here against Isaac Dulgarian, UFC Fight Night, March 16th. This has got to be fight of the night. It's Christian Rodriguez back here on the program. C-Rod, Christian, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's good to talk to you again. Now you actually have a fight we can talk about. Last time, obviously, we were
Yeah.
talking about everything else. But were you a bit surprised to get Isaac as an opponent just because you just sort of fought an up-and-comer, a prospect in your last fight, even the fight before that? It seems like they're not giving you any veterans here. Just your impressions of Isaac and them offering you the fight.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised just because I wasn't too familiar with the featherweights.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. He's I did a little bit of research on him. He had some hype going on when he got signed from the Full Send team. So, yeah, he was like another prospect as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And again, you fought a prospect or two, like I just mentioned there, Raul Roses, you fought Cameron Simon. So really exciting fight. Obviously, he's got some great wrestling. He's sort of known for that. You mentioned a lot of hype there. How are you looking at this fight stylistically as far as this matchup?
I like it just because I know what he wants. So it's a pretty decent game plan to figure him out and stuff. Just because he's not a big striker either, so he's just gonna want to take me down and hold me down, submit me. But yeah, I got nothing but respect to him.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's a really, really high level fight here. I can't wait. Now, last time we spoke, you were doing some cross training. Take me through this camp. Who did you get to train with? Where did you train? Take me through a bit of that leading into the fight.
Yeah, so I've been doing all my training here at Rufus Sport with my grappling coaches, Chris Wright, Mark, Duke, Kush. A couple weeks ago, I was in Thailand for a bit. I went to Thailand for 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I started camp out there just because I like the isolation.
Yeah.
I like being by myself. It's like being in Thailand. Everything revolves around training. There's no distractions. It's literally train, breathe, and train.
That's cool. Which gym did you train with out there? Who did you get to work with?
At Bang Tao. I was
nice.
training with the Hickman Bros. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. They are such good coaches. I mean, I just hear so many fighters rave about them. Was that something like, did you know them beforehand, or like how did that all get set up with you training there?
I've been knowing about them, about the coaches for a bit, just because I'm still a fan at heart.
Mhm.
It's I see like the top fighters. I like Volkanovski. Those are his coaches. So I was and I spoke to my management about it, and they got everything set up over there.
Nice. That's good. Do you see yourself going back? I mean, you mentioned there, it's pretty tempting, right? Like you got really good food over there. The weather's good, and it's very much training centered too. It's like, it literally is like a fighter lifestyle over there, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'll definitely go back just because I did love Thailand. The weather, the beaches, everything over there is amazing.
It's great. And then what about back at Rufus Sport? You mentioned the coaches. What about training partners? Who've been some of the guys you got to work with over there at Rufus Sport?
The guys I'm training with now is Jeremy Strobel, Jose Vasquez, Mark Chowinski. We have a good team. We have an amazing team going on here. They're all trying to get to the big show, and yeah, you're gonna hear about them in a couple years, or not even a couple years sooner.
Yeah, well, and that's what's cool. Like, I feel like we've had a couple waves of Rufus Sport, right? If you go all the way back, when Rufus Sport was going with obviously Anthony and Sergio, and then you had like, Gerald Mershard and Brendan Allen there for a bit, Bilal Muhammad, and then like now, and Askren, and obviously it's been going through a bit of a transition phase. It must be cool for you as someone who's been there for a while to see the gym. Like now you're the veteran at the gym,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm the veteran now because when I was a kid, I was like 17, 18, I would see all the pros. All the ways of Rufus Sport, like you were saying.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like you mentioned Chris Wright. Like I remember interviewing him when he fought for like, I forget which promotion back then, but it's like, he's a coach now. Like it's just really cool to see that, like, because I remember even hearing about you years ago when you weren't even in the UFC, people being like, hey, you got to watch out for this kid. And now I'm sure you have guys in your gym like talking to you, asking for advice and stuff because you're the UFC veteran now, right?
Yeah, and I like it just because it makes me happy when people ask for my advice or stuff like that. Just because it's I don't know, it's weird, but I do like it a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it helps. Iron sharpens iron, and not only that, when you got those up and comers in the gym, they're probably keeping you on your toes too because they're trying to prove themselves, so they got to put in a good practice.
Yeah, because when I was young, I would always try to find the UFC fighters and be like, let me test myself out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there you go. Now you're returning the favor. So obviously this fight's at 145, and we know that this is your new division. How are you feeling? Because again, the weight cut not as much of it, I'm sure, as a process this time around. You can focus more on fighting and everything else.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing. This is I fought a 45 before.
Yeah,
but it was on 5 days notice. So this time having a full camp, really prepared myself. So I'm really excited for this one. I think you guys are going to see a really good fight.
And just to clarify, like, this was kind of a mutual decision, right? Like, you felt like it, was maybe cutting too much weight, and I'm sure, obviously the UFC, I'm sure, they like people making weight as well. Like take me through that decision. It was just one of those things where you guys are like, this is probably a better fit.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, like, obviously for the last two, I struggled, and the UFC wasn't happy, so I'm like, okay. And
let's make this easier on everyone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm grateful they gave me another opportunity. I feel like a lot of people talk shit about the UFC, but I feel like they could have been, no, you can't make weight, so let's cut you,
Right.
But I'm grateful they gave me another opportunity. They're like, okay, now go up a weight, prove yourself, and then from there we'll see what the future holds for you.
I know we talked about this last time, but I still see people, not just with you, but so many fighters, this weight bully thing, like as if you're like missing weight on purpose to like gain an advantage or something. Do you still get that on social media? I know you're a pretty level-headed guy when it comes to that stuff, but I'm sure you see the morons out there too.
Yeah, I still get it. I still get it.
Yeah.
It's still new to me, but I don't really pay too much attention to it.
Well, it's just, it's one of those things, like, you got to take advice from people that actually, like, if your coach is saying that, then that's one thing, but some, guy who doesn't even train, like, who cares what his opinion is, right? So
yeah,
that's kind of, you have to look at it for sure.
But that's how the fans are sometimes.
For sure. They love you or they hate you. It's, it's just the way it works. You mentioned your coaches. What about your corner? Who's going to be in the cage with you on March 16th?
Yeah, so in my team, my corner will be Chris Wright, Mark Chewinski, and Doug Rufus.
Nice. That's great. And
Mark's another one you got to watch out for.
Okay. Well, again, I'm writing my notes down. I'll be keeping tabs. Mm-hmm. And how do you see this fight playing out? Again, I think this is going to be fight of the night. I think this is one of those fights we're going to look back on in a couple of years being like, man, like, we got this so early in their careers and we get to see them go at it. How do you think this one plays out?
Yeah, I think I'm going to knock him out. I'm coming with really bad intentions for this one. I got to prove myself.
Yeah.
Just because the last two, the UFC has given me good opportunities to showcase myself, and I kind of messed up. So I really got a chip on my shoulder for this one. I really got to prove myself on this one.
Dulgarian, like I said, pretty hype prospect. You've been here before, again, with some of the opponents you fought. Where does a win put you? I probably wouldn't get you in the rankings, but it's got to get you pretty close with the win streak you've been on, right? Like, I know it's different division, but you've been taking out some pretty good names.
Yeah, I think a good performance would really put me back in the spotlight. It would really help my career a lot.
Top of your division, we have a new champion, Ilia Topuria. What did you think of his knockout over Volkanovski?
It's a super good knockout. I actually thought Volk was gonna win, but yeah, Topuria surprised me.
Is that inspiring in a way? Like, seeing a guy that, like, for example, like, Volk's never lost at featherweight in the UFC like that. And he's never, he's only been finished just the one other time against Islam, like, in the UFC. I think he was finished like years ago, but I mean, seeing Topuria like take advantage of an opportunity like that and just go out there and perform on the highest level, that's got to be inspiring for a young guy like you.
It is super inspiring because he's only like a year older than me too.
Yeah. So
it's really inspiring.
That's good. Who do you think Topuria should fight next? Like, I don't know if you pay attention to the division or not. We've got Movsar Ivoyev, who's obviously undefeated. He just beat Arnold Allen. Everyone wants to see Max Holloway back there, but he's got some business with Justin Gaethje coming up. And then, Brian Ortega just won last weekend, although some argue that he was coming off 2 losses. So why should he get back in the title picture? But what do you think? What should be next for Topuria if you're the matchmaker?
I think at a fan standpoint, I would love to see Holloway and Ilia.
Yeah.
But I think as a matchmaker, I think they might give it to Ortega.
Yeah, because Ortega's obviously a bigger name, and he's finished fights, and that's something that I think fans and the UFC kind of pay attention to. Granted, Arnold Allen's pretty tough to finish, so I kind of give Ivoyev some credit there because it's not like he's like a bad opponent or anything like that. And last question before we get out of here: what's downtime looking like right now? Are you watching any good TV shows, playing any video games? What are you getting up to?
Yeah, watching Power. I started binge watching Power.
Okay.
It's a TV show about mobsters.
Okay. I got to check it out. I love Sopranos back in the day, so I need to check this
Oh
one out.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you would like Power a lot. Yeah,
Have you seen Sopranos?
yeah,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Oh, you got to watch the whole thing. It's
The whole thing?
after you're done Power, go watch Sopranos. I know it's older, but like honestly, it still holds up. It's such a good show. I think it's like the best. It's got everything. It's got like good characters. It's got some humor in there. It's really really good. So love the Sopranos. Season 3 of the Sopranos is my favorite. So
Okay.
I don't know if you got to that one or not, but there you go. But hey, Christian, thanks so much for doing this. We're looking forward to this one. UFC Fight Night, March 16th. Doesn't get much better than this. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Okay. I just wanted to give a big shout out to my team, my Rufus Sport team, and my management team. So yeah, I'm excited for this one.